2025 is fast approaching, and a lot of us are still struggling to figure out how we're going to get through this whole content struggle. And what I started to realize as a director, filmmaker, producer, I started to realize that the most important thing outside of creating content is telling stories. But then taking it a step further, what's more important than the story is the character development. And for the longest time, I would literally just go through Amazon and I would try and find as many self-help books as I possibly can. Things that are relatable to entrepreneurs and business owners. And yeah, I stumbled across a couple books that, ended up helping me tell a bit of a better story, but it wasn't as deep as I wanted to go. And as we move on to the next year, I want to be able to give my audience the best stories that I possibly can, not only for my documentary work, but just for the weekly videos that you see here on my YouTube channel. So, thinking about character development, how do you even build character development? And once I started to realize that movies are barely doing it for me anymore, TV shows are barely doing it for me anymore, reading these self-help books are definitely not doing it, what was the next step? Where can I go from here? And that's when it dawned on me, and I was like, I think it's time to get back into the nonfiction realm. We know to follow certain series as Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Batman, Marvel. These are shows and movies that we tend to follow, which is mainstream, which is what we know about. But if you really want to get into something that is much deeper than the surface level stuff that the Western world gives you, that's when you got to go a step further. If you asked me 4 years ago if I would enter a bookstore and walk into this section, the answer would be absolutely not. I ended up finding myself in a section called Manga. And I know there's probably a lot of you out there that know what this is, and the diehards are probably going to ridicule me and call me a noob, or they might welcome me with open arms, whatever the case might be. But I needed to find something that was going to be outside of what I know from Western civilization, what I know from our modern world, because we are so engulfed in what the Canadas and the Americas are teaching us that we kind of forget that there is a whole other world out there, and we kind of stay sheltered and stay in this bubble of ours. I wanted to go into something that was going to take time. Take as much time as it would, the same way it takes time when I'm doing like my Bible study, for example. And there was no way that I was going to get such an in-depth story if I wasn't ready to commit to something that I never had committed to before. And that is when I stumbled across Berserk. This is the deluxe edition, volume 1, and it is written by Kentaro Miura. I'm sorry if I butcher that name. Now, for those of you that don't know what this book is, and you're probably wondering, Lefty, why the heck would you torture yourself to read 700 pages? What is this even about? And what's it going to help you with story development and character development? And how is it going to help you make better content? Because that's what we all want to know. But let me put this down and give you the summary of what Berserk is all about. So, Berserk is a dark fantasy that is equal parts brutal, philosophical, and deeply emotional. It's a story of revenge, survival, friendship, and the relentless pursuit of purpose in a world that's as bleak as it is beautiful. And isn't that such a perfect way to think about what I'm trying to do? A relentless pursuit of purpose in a world that is bleak, or as bleak as it is beautiful. I feel this way all the time. Content is bleak. Social media is bleak. Everything is just people getting by, and we're not giving anything that is of true value to follow. And I want to be able to bridge that gap and give you guys amazing stories, amazing character development. And in this turnaround, I am the character that you guys are going to be following. This is a fat book, and there's, I think, 12 of these books. I think. As I read this, I'm going to be making notes. I'm going to be walking us through the main character, everything that he's going through, and I'm going to essentially read this story for you guys. Not here online, because like this isn't story time, but on my own time. And I'm going to make sure that I have all the notes that you and I will both need to build amazing characters in 2025. Wish me luck, but what's also cool about this, Japanese books tend to open up backwards, and they tend to be read from right to left and then down. So not only am I going to be learning how to develop a better character and how to develop a better story, but I'm also going to be training my brain to have a new skill to be able to read from right to left versus left to right. And I think that's really cool. Also, it's a comic book, so I'm not reading little tiny text that's going to take me forever. I get to actually see some images to go along with what I'm reading. So I'm excited to get into Berserk. I'm excited to put the self-help books aside for the remainder of the year and in 2025. I'm not going to pick up a single self-help book. I'm going to go through this entire series, and if you guys are in my academy, this is where I'm going to do a lot more in-depth breakdowns as I'm going through this book, and the books to follow. So yeah, I'm really excited. And if you guys do want to join the academy, it's where I'm helping you develop and build your personal brand so you can be unstoppable online and have people actually connect with you, because you are the niche. You don't need a niche. And with that being said, as long as the people love you, you'll never be out of work. I'll see you guys on the next video.